Roger Hoover, now pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Carson-Newman Lady Eagles, Mike Mincey. A hard-fought game, a 4-point loss for Carson-Newman. And really, Coach, these were two different halves. You had a lot of scoring in the first half. Second half, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard for me to even go back to that, the first half, the way we started. It's like we were getting pretty easy baskets and scoring. And, of course, they were too. And it was like it's going to be a really high-scoring game. And then didn't feel like we closed the half out. But, we weren't out of it. We're only down 6. We came out in the second half. And Coach Tipton had a great idea to, let's get the ball out of Three's hands and then not let her get it back. And I thought those that tagged her, Shantae, Lacey, JJ, all the Peacher, all the ones that guarded number 3, they held her to 4 free throws in the second half, and that was a huge key into keeping them from scoring. And a lot of those players for them, they're not coming out of the game. They're playing the whole time. And that was one of our strategies, was we were hoping we would be able to run and play 10 or 11 people and wear them down. And I think it hurt them offensively, but at the same time, our offense kind of struggled there late, and we weren't able to get anything going. When we were up 63-58, and I told them in the locker room, you're at home against a good team and you're up by 5 with how much ever time was left on the clock. You got to keep that lead, and you got to go ahead and finish out the victory there.
Carson-Newman, LaShonda Peacher really had a strong first half for you, and she set a career high today with 15 points. Were you happy with the production she provided in that first half?
Well, I was. LaShonda's one of those that's able to create her own shot, and she's a good athlete, got a good size guard that can go in there and get offensive rebounds and stick backs. And, if we're getting that kind of production out of her, we didn't get, Tatum, she was lit it up yesterday, and I think her ankle was really aggravating her today. And they knew they needed to come in here and guard her, but we don't get anything from our leading scorer, and we lose by 4. But, anytime we have somebody stepping up like LaShonda, we got to have some other people do the same.
Carson-Newman did have a big advantage in the paint, 48-28 in terms of points, and you have to be happy with, even though Carson-Newman's a team that a lot of times will live and die by the 3, still getting some points inside, a positive.
Well, that was probably one of our main positives as far as the offensive side of the ball goes. It's been able to score in the paint, and getting 48 of our 70 points is great. But I do want to be a team that shoots the 3 ball and is able to score. And when you go 1 for 9, all of a sudden they can start collapsing, which they did. They started collapsing on everything in the paint, and that's probably why we didn't get a whole lot of great looks in the second half. So, the 3 ball, we've got to make 4, 5, 6 threes a game to soften up that defense and keep them honest, and we didn't do a good job of that tonight.
First time all year that Carson-Newman's played in back-to-back days. Do you think fatigue may have set in for both teams in the second half?
Well, it should for Barton. They drove over here yesterday, 7 hours on a bus, and then they played a hard-fought game with LR, and then it's a short turnaround. But for us, we didn't have to ride on a bus. There's really should be no excuse for us. We had nobody play more than 24 minutes last night. It's all 24 minutes and below. They had 4 players that played 32 minutes plus last night. So we should have had the advantage, and we should have continued to run them. And I thought Barton was very winded about midway through the second half, and unfortunately we just couldn't make them pay. And it's going to be something that we look at back on the film, this is a game, an important regional game, and we just absolutely let it get away from us.
Well, now you go from one talented Conference Carolinas team to another. Limestone comes in, ranked 24th in the country, and a team that's coming off a very good season a year ago.
Yeah, Limestone's they've had a lot of good guards there of late, 3,000-point scorers that are now gone, and I know they got the 24th ranking. Don't know a lot about them because we've had these 2 games. I'll start scouting them tonight and work into tomorrow because we're going to give the kids a day off. And they'll be just like Barton. They'll be athletic, and they'll be able to create off the dribble and score. And we'll have our hands full. But I think this is going to be a great learning experience for our ball club. We've got that loss now, and they know how it feels to go to the locker room. And I hope this stings so that we come back in here Wednesday, that we won't let it happen at home again.
Coach, we appreciate you joining us. Best of luck on Wednesday when we see you again against Limestone.
All right, thanks, Roger.
That was Carson-Newman head coach Mike Mincey.